Alles in my nou.
Alles in my nou.
David, hoe gaan het?
Met hemzelf.
Met homself.
Nee, goed man. Baie goed. Are we live?
We are live.
We are live. We are live.
Okay, wonderful stuff. So we're going to do this thing in English. I just want to welcome everybody on the call. Thank you, David, for doing this. I think it's extraordinary. I think it's very courageous. And it's awesome to know you as a friend and as a partner, business partner.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Can you tell me, is that better?
Tell me, is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Is it better?
Is it better?
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Great stuff.
Sorry for that.
Okay, sorry for that.
Okay, Hykie,
I just want to say yes, thank you again. Thank you for this time that you're taking out of your busy schedule to speak to us tonight.
We really appreciate it.
We really appreciate it a lot.
What I want to speak to you about is how
the story, about your story, how did you got to get where you are, and how the personal development helped with these success that you have already while you're such a young guy in the industry.
Well, I'm not that young anymore. I turned 41 on the 2nd of May. But I do believe I'm gonna get to the gentle age of 121. I believe I'm gonna beat Moses with a year. But I think, David, look, I think everybody starts on a journey. As a child, I grew up in a very good home. My father was a senior advocate. He grows up in an environment where we are taught that we need to go to school, get good grades, then go to university, study hard, get a job, and then work for 45 years and then retire. So, I mean, if you had to draw that out and you had to move or a 25 on the one side when you would start working, and you draw a line and you write the number 65, okay, in between, or 67 whenever we're supposed to retire, that's 45 years, okay? And if you take 2 weeks out of 45 years for every year, that means you'll only have 2 years holiday in the entire span of your working life. And for those that have kids and that have a family, you know that those 2 weeks, that's not even holiday. And if you take all the paychecks that you were going to earn over 45 years, that's 480 paychecks and 160 go to the tax man. And when I went to study drama, nobody taught me about creating wealth, about being an entrepreneur, about planning for your future, about having an awesome life. Now, I mean, nobody teaches you environment money. So you go to work, you sell your time for money. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And believe me, in my industry, you work and you might sit, and that frustrated me. So even though my father was he did very, very well. He never taught me about what true wealth really is. I had to learn that in books, spending time with mentors, and I thought that because I'm an actor, that's what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life. Until I read a book from a guy called Robert Kiyosaki called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And in the Cash Flow Quadrant, he says that true wealth is not measured in money, it's measured in time. So, for example, if you had to lose your primary income today, how many months would you be able to live and sustain your lifestyle without that primary income and keep that standard of lifestyle? And most people in South Africa is a month. Can you believe it? Some people only 3 months, and then they're broke. So true wealth is measured in time. So if I had to lose my primary income today, would I be able to sustain this lifestyle that I have? And that gave me, I mean, I didn't know how to do that. Like, how does an ordinary person that doesn't have lots of money, nobody gave me anything. My father didn't give us money. My mother didn't give us money. I mean, we went and we studied, and my father said, that's it. I had to get myself through my degree. And the entertainment industry is tough. The first year you have to go for auditions and auditions and auditions. I had to waiter and eventually I got a few parts here and there. And slowly but surely I started doing well in my acting career, but still I was living from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, because you can't budget, you can't put money away, you don't know where you're going to end up financially one day. And when I read this book, it made so much sense to me. He speaks about the left side of the quadrant of the employees and the self-employed people, and 90% in the world of the world's population is in those two quadrants, where we are taught to sell time for money. And he speaks about the other side of the quadrant, which is the big business environment, system-driven businesses, guys that build big businesses that works on systems that can go away for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and the business will grow, and they will still make passive annuity income. They build pipeline income. And I wanted to build pipeline income. That's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to help people do the same thing. And he speaks about an environment called the direct distribution environment in the B quadrant that gives ordinary people, like you and me, people that might have no education in entrepreneurship, no education in finances, no degree, just a big dream and a will and a principle called teachability. And you can make massive, massive money in that industry. So to get back to your question, so I had to humble myself and become teachable again. And when I got involved with a company, and my mentors told me, Hykie, so in order for you to build a 500,000 Rand a month passive income, okay, that you can gain insight, you need to learn and to study and to read and listen to CDs. And I thought, but why do I need to do that? And I was shocked when they told me and showed me that social science have proven over and over and over again that you will turn out, everybody will turn out to be a combination of the 5 people that they spend the most time with. That means your belief system, your religious views, where you stay, what you wear, your bank account. Everything will be a combination of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Why? Because you share a certain mindset. You share a certain master mindset. And the only way to change that, ever, is the things that you read, the stuff that you listen to, and the people that you associate yourself with. Because I had a poverty mindset. I had such a poverty mindset. I had limiting beliefs. I believed, because I was in the world of actors, I believed that nobody had money. That was my belief system. I believed that you're going to struggle for the rest of your life to have work. I believed that, for example, we have these negative beliefs that the country's not doing well and you're never going to be able to retire and all that. And that's just a poverty mindset. It's absolutely not the truth. Do you know that money has never flown from this planet to the moon? Money has never left this planet. There's so much money to be made, but I had to change the way I think about things. And it's interesting that the national economy, the Nasionale Ekonomiese Forum, the National Economical Forum, did a survey. It took them many years to do this, and they said that South Africa is the most negative, pessimistic country in the world. Second is Venezuela, and then Brazil. And the reason for that, they say, is because we grow up being problem-driven and not solution-driven. And think about this. When you go to a braai or when you go out with friends, everywhere you drive, on every billboard, there's something negative. Everything's just negative. If you go to, it doesn't matter where you go, people just talk about the country and politics and how bad it goes and racism and this and that. So it's always good to identify the problem. But nobody taught us to be solution-driven, to be vision-driven. It's for example, like my mom. So she's a wonderful, fantastic, awesome lady, and I love her to bits, okay? So just to go back to the National Economical Forum, they say we suffer from the donut problem. We look at the donut, and we see only the hole. We just talk about the hole. We don't see the donut. That's how we are. That's how we are focused. We think and I'm a biker, so I love motorbikes. And if you're going to ride on a bike and all you think and focus on is the pothole, what's going to happen? You're going to drive straight into the pothole. So my mom, for example, when I was a young kid, she used to say, Hykie, when you get back home from school, put your suitcase in your room, take out your your food, your kosblikkie, put it in the in the basement. Okay, go to your room, hang up your clothes, and put your bike away. Okay, and I used to come back from home, and I used to do all of those things except hang up my clothes. So I put my little food pakkie away. I would put the bike away. I would put my my bag away, but I would never pick up my clothes. And I used to go lie down on my bed because I was tired, and I would sleep. So my mom always used to come into the room and say, "Why don't you pick up your clothes?" Okay. And I just told her, "But I'm tired." I'll never forget this. Like, why don't you pick up your clothes? And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. But later on in my life, my mom came to me and she said to me, "You know what, Hykie? You know, instead of me focusing on the 3 things that you did right and praising you on the 3 things that you did right, instead I focused on the one thing that you did wrong." And so parents also learn through this process, okay? And it makes you think about how we look at life. It's a whole thing about looking at the glass half full and half empty. And I had to decide in my life. I had to make a decision very early in my life when I ended up in my first treatment facility because I was a heroin addict for so many years. And believe you me, listen, David and everybody else there, if I can make something of my life, believe me, anybody can. There is no excuse for anybody not to stand up, work on their stuff, take responsibility for their lives and move on. I mean, I was in 7 treatment facilities. I was in Westkoppies. I was in jail. I was arrested 7 times. I had court cases against me. Nobody wanted to touch me. I was just rubbish. I was just a number on the streets. I was just going to end up dying there. I mean, what are the chances of somebody like me doing something with my life? But this is where it changed. In my first treatment facility, okay, my father took me there because I was busy dying. And I'll never forget the first day I walked into my room and I got undressed and I took a shower and something happened and I got very angry with the nurses and because I had an attitude of being the victim and blaming everybody and I was resentful and that's how many people live. It's so much easier to blame people for your predicament than to take personal responsibility for your choices. But anyway, I was about to RHT to sign a refusal of hospital treatment declaration, which means you can leave treatment. You can walk out there anytime. It's, you know, unless you've got a section on you that where the government, Section 34, where the government owns you and sends you to a psychiatric hospital, you can just RHT anytime. And I took my bags and I ran down these stairs because I wanted to go I wanted to go shoot heroin in my veins. And as I ran down these stairs and I looked up in front of me, I saw a little prayer. And this prayer has changed my life forever. And I'm not asking anybody on this call to be a person of faith. I am a person of faith, okay? But I'm not asking anybody to be one. But what this prayer said was, I looked up and this prayer said, "God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the people that I can, and the wisdom to know that that person is I." And that just blew me away. And for a half a second, I thought to myself, but maybe if I change, things around me will change. Maybe if I get better, things around me will get better. Maybe because I realized that if I grow, everything else grows around me. It's something that Jim Rohn, he was a very well-known speaker and a businessman, he says, you know, if you want things to change, you need to change. It all starts with the man in the mirror. And I can just thank the Lord that I stayed. I never went because of that little prayer. And what that prayer today means for me is that I am responsible for my life. I'm responsible for my choices and the consequences thereof. I'm responsible for my financial future. Nobody's responsible for you. Nobody is. I'm responsible for that. Which means I have to learn and, as much as I can, educate myself. Be around mentors. Be around people that speak into your life. Be hungry, honeable, and teachable. Those are the 3 things that I've learned that is so vital for anybody to move forward, is to be hungry for your dreams, because nobody in school teaches you how to dream. There's not a dream class in school that you go to and they say, listen, we're going to teach you how to dream and have a vision, and imagine you've got R1 million coming in every single month of your life. Like, how would you live your life? And I'm going to teach you how to make R1 million passive income coming in every single month. They don't teach you that in school. Nobody teaches you that. They don't teach you about attitude. You know, they would say a couple of things about it, but they don't teach you how important attitude is about life, because life is 10% how-tos and 90% attitude. But attitude, you have to learn. You have to learn how to focus. You have to learn how to create good habits. And you only learn good habits through personal development. Now, if somebody can tell you, listen, get up an hour earlier in the mornings, or make sure that you've got to finish your lists for the day, go train, be disciplined with it. I mean, people can say that to you, but that's not going to help. I mean, there are so many self-help books out there. If books helped, which they do, but you've got to practice what the book says. Only 3% of people that read self-help books actually do what the book says, and they're successful. Many people just buy the book, they read it, and they don't do what the book says. So what I know for a fact is that freedom comes at a cost. It comes at a massive cost. And when I talk about freedom, I talk about true wealth. I talk about the idea of having a lifestyle where I can step into the fullness of my calling, because I want to. I want to live a full life, and I want to do what my Creator has asked from me, you know. But so many people just stay stuck for 10, 12 hours a day in jobs that they hate. And 70% of South Africans, employees, hate what they do, and they get zero fulfillment, little or zero fulfillment in their jobs. Why would you want to do that and spend more time in a place that you hate than be with people that you love? But I realized that kind of freedom comes with a massive price, and that's self-discipline. And self-discipline is painful. It's a fearful place to be in. It's very fearful. It's hard. It's tough. But in order for us to grow as human beings, we do that through the challenges of life. There's a rabbi called Rabbi Abraham Twersky. It's a very well-known rabbi in the world. So he tells a story about how a kreef. What is a kreef? A lobster. Yeah. So it talks about how a lobster actually grows. So I don't know how many people know this, but when a lobster gets born, it's a very, very small little, dodgy little wormy type of thing. It's this slushy little thing. So what this thing does is, it goes and it goes and hides underneath a rock, and then it grows the shell around it. Okay. And then it travels out into the water, and he thinks he's the man. I mean, he's hard, he's tough, he's got the shell. But what happens is, the actual lobster inside grows bigger, and then actually starts growing into the shell. But the shell doesn't grow. The lobster grows. So eventually it gets so uncomfortable, he becomes so under stress and under pressure, and he starts freaking out. It becomes fearful and painful, and he goes into almost a panic attack. But the only way to get out of it is to jump out of the shell, leave the shell behind, travel, being this vulnerable little thing, travel again underneath the rock and grow a bigger shell. And then that process continues and continues and continues and continues. So I've learned that we grow the most when there's deep, deep pressure, which is forced upon us, and that pressure comes in our lifestyles. I mean, everybody has got challenges. Everybody has challenges. Jim Rohn also has got this beautiful quote. He says, "It's not what happens to you in life that matters, because what happens to you happens to everybody. It's what you do with what happens. It's how you respond, your attitude towards it." And that is what personal development has done for me. So I read a couple of pages every single night of my life on books from Robert Kiyosaki, books from Donald Trump, Anthony Robbins, Greatest Salesman in the World, from Og Mandino, Leadership Revolution, John Maxwell, all of those books. And I learn from these guys. And my car, for example, my car is just one big library. I don't listen to music in my car, unless I listen to some of the gospel music. I listen to just, I love worshiping God, and I love serving Him, and I love jumping up and down for Him. But the other things that I listen to, it's podcasts, and it's all about guys that teach us, the masters. They're out there, and they're willing to teach you how to get to a place of abundance. So those are the kinds of things that I like. That's why I think it's important.
Thank you. More thoroughly than that, you did not have explained your story. I just want to find out
what I see
what
on
I
my
see on
picture
my
is
picture is
nothing,
nothing,
but I can
but I
hear
can hear
everything.
everything.
You still
You still
connected?
connected?
I'm connected, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
brilliant.
brilliant. That's fine.
Let's do that
Let's do
because
that
I'll
because
anyways
I'll anyways
and
and
publish it
publish it.
afterwards. Okay,
Okay, can you give us
a bit of
a bit of
information
information
about
about
your book
your
that you
book that
wrote?
you wrote?
What is it
What is it
about, and
about,
why
and
would
why
you
would you
recommend
recommend
someone to
someone
read it?
to read it?
Okay, so the book is it's a story of my life. When I was on the island of Survivor in 2011, I was blessed and to have won that Survivor, and I felt that God asked me to write a story of my life. So the book is about my experiences with drugs and alcohol, and the process of the 12-step Minnesota model, and how I got clean, and how God revealed himself to me. And because I believe there are so many people out there looking for hope. Addiction doesn't discriminate, whether it's drug addiction, alcohol, sex addiction, porn, pharmaceuticals, doesn't matter what, addiction is rife. And it keeps people in bondage. And there are so many different views, so many different rehabs, so many different, and people don't know where to go, people don't know who to trust. And it's hard and it's tough on parents. But I wrote the book also for parents so that people can start understanding what addiction is all about. It is a obsessive compulsive mental, biological, physiological, spiritual and emotional illness. It's not just weak willpower or bad morals or anything like that. Not at all. It is an absolute. It is an illness, and I wrote about the struggles that I had to go through, and then I wrote quite a bit on dysfunctional families. And just remember, all families with more than one member is dysfunctional. All families have got a degree of dysfunctionality in them. There's no such thing as a perfect family. But the idea was to give people hope, to show people that, listen, if I can do it, you can do it. Really, I mean, I lived on the streets. I was in jail. I used to rob old grannies of their wallets, to go and buy my heroin in Hillbrow. And I know it's crazy. And I just wrote my life story on the book. And it started off as a small little ebook, and a very good friend and mentor, Wouter Snyman. He's the CEO of Atu Financial Services. He's a good friend of mine. He lives in Pretoria. We just wrote a book together as well, another book that's going to be launched on the 12th of June at the Kompas Gemeente in Vanderbijl Park. So we're all going to be there the 12th of June in Vanderbijl Park. And, and I invite everybody to come. But so, and Wouter is a huge mentor in my life. He was one of the first people that got me on this journey of personal development. I mean, I used to go to Wouter and say, listen, Wouter, I need so much money because I'm going to do this and do that. He said, no, you don't need money. You need to have personal development. And I used to say, no, Wouter, but I need this and this. And he would shove a book in my hand and say, read that. And he's still doing it today. And it was probably the best thing he could have ever done for me. He wrote a book called Would Driving a Porsche Change Your Life? The Ordinary Millionaire. They're all Amazon bestsellers. But anyway, so he encouraged me to, after the little ebook, to write a full book. And it took me 6 years to write it, and it got published. And it hit the #1 bestseller in South Africa. And that's not my doing. That is the supernatural anointment of the Holy Spirit on that book. Because it's not just my story. It's every addict's story, but it's God's redemption story through a broken vessel, and what he can do if you are wholly and fully and utterly surrendered to him. Because people forget this. I mean, many people are Christians. For example, many people are Christians, but very few people really walk in their full calling with God. Very few. And I write about that, because I believe that the enemy's greatest mission on earth is not to make sure that you don't make it to paradise. His mission is to rob you from your calling in life. Because if he can do that, then you don't have a testimony at all. And his greatest trick today is to make people believe that he doesn't exist. He makes people believe that he doesn't exist, because if he doesn't exist, then who needs saving? Who needs saving? So and the book became a #1 bestseller. And And I'm super proud of it. I'm really, really proud of it. And I travel the country and I do lots of talks, lots of keynote talks, lots of leadership talks. I do a lot of dames, and I think the country wants to crucify me at the moment because Konrad Bester just made sure that Naomi in Benelux will never have children. I cut out through her fallopian tube and I made sure that she'll never have kids. So at the moment, the country does not like me, okay? But it's happened before. Years ago on Igoli, an old granny threw me with a cucumber on my head because I broke a miner's virginity under the Mossel Bay light tower. And so the country hated me. They hated me. And they hate me again. Okay, so when I walk in there, people go, wow, could you have done that to Naomi? Cut through her fallopian tube. Because they were all waiting for Louis and Naomi to have little kids. So now Conrad has gone and I've taken those chances away from her. So the book is just done incredibly well. So I want to just encourage everybody to go and to buy it. We make really, if you write a book, it's not about the money. It's really to get your heart and your passion and your dream and your heart on paper and share that with the world. And I want to encourage everybody to go write a book. Write your story because your story has got value. Everybody's unique. Everybody has a story, and that story can change somebody's life. I never thought I could write a book. I wrote it myself. I sat down and I just started writing my story. Nobody published it because I'm on TV. I just wrote it. And I kept on writing, and I kept on writing because what personal development taught me about commitment. You see, everybody today thinks they kind of ADHD. I'm busy writing a book on ADHD and the industry about ADHD. I'm busy writing with it. I've got about 10,000 words that I've done already. I wrote about 2 hours today, and I'm doing a lot of interviews with people. And so what is interesting is that most people today can't focus because we live in an ADHD society. Everything around you is ADHD. It is instant this, instant that, instant this. It's Facebook, it's social media, it's this and that. Society just don't teach people how to concentrate anymore. So people think, well, just because I can't focus, I must have ADHD and I'm going to go onto meds or pills for this. So society doesn't teach kids anymore how to commit. What is commitment? What is perseverance? How to focus, okay? It doesn't mean that if you can't focus, you've got ADHD and you've got to go on amphetamine or methamphetamine, which is, or methylphenidate, which is almost like methamphetamine, which is Ritalin, Concerta, and all of that stuff. But commitment, I had to learn that commitment is that thing that you do, that when the feeling that when you made the commitment in has left you. That is what commitment is. And it takes character that you have to grow, and you only grow character by doing personal development. I mean, most people, after they've studied, they never ever read a book in their lives again, ever. And so commitment is when you do something and you start something, when the passion and the drive and the excitement and the idea of this whole thing has passed, to push through. And the most important thing that will help anyone is to have a massive why, a massive dream. Because if you can see the vision of where you're going, then you will be able to overcome the small little obstacles. But if you don't have a big dream, if you don't have a vision, and saying to me like, Hykie, I want to be financially independent. Sorry, that's not big enough for you to that's not a big enough. It's not in your heart. Just say that again, David.
You want a bit more details on why just the broad idea like financial freedom.
Yeah, so I believe that most people get motivated by a sense of personal freedom. Okay, so let me explain what that means. So I believe that all people have a desire to be more free, whether it's with their religious practices, whether it's with spending more time with their family, spending more time with their spouse, spending more time with their hobbies, spending more time with traveling with their girlfriends, spending more time with things that they love, that they want to do. Okay, so most employees, their primary motivational factor is their paycheck. They wake up in the mornings, they go, not all employees, there are many employees that love their jobs and I honor them for it, and it's awesome and they're making a huge difference in their lives and stuff, but most of them. I know guys, they hate their jobs. They could earn 250,000 Rand a month, but they're not free. They've got these golden handcuffs on. They're just not free. But So your primary motivational factor is your paycheck. What that means is that you go to work, you do kind of what's expected of you, and maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but you do that because you want your paycheck at the end of the month, because if you don't get your paycheck, you are not going to survive. And then what happens is, as we get older, we've got all these dreams and we've got all these things that we want to do in life, and we want to do all these amazing things. We start getting into the working environment, and we start shoving in our dreams into our paychecks. We just kind of accept that that's life. You start kind of accepting this mediocre life. And life becomes so mundane. I know 90% of my friends that have a job, when Monday comes, I go, oh, geez, Monday, you know. And when a Friday comes, I go, woohoo! And they go on the weekend, they binge, they drink, they party. They've got such babbalas, and they go on a Monday back to work, and then they hate it again, and they hate it again. Why do you want to live your life like that? Because people that just think there aren't any other ways, any different ways. So what I challenge people on is like what is your why? Look, you can have dreams, you can have selfish dreams. I don't believe that life is all about just having a beach house at the beach and having a Ferrari and being financially free. That's not what life is about for me. My life is about kingdom building. My deep calling inside of me is to build community, is to help families, parents come back home to their kids so that they don't have to spend 12 hours a day at work and never, ever, ever see their kids and are absent fathers, absent mothers. Okay, and I do that because as a kid, that's what I wanted. And I didn't have that with my dad. Today, we've got an amazing relationship. Look, don't get me wrong, my father's an amazing man. But if I can help other people to share the rest of their life with their kids, where the fathers take them to school and pick them up from school. The fathers spend all the time. I mean, just imagine how great that is. And we're doing it every single day. Every single day, you and I help people and educate people on how to do it. But here's the trick. So everybody wants the fruit on the tree. But the fruit is the very last thing that grows on the fruit tree. Many people aren't willing. They're not willing to grow the roots into the soil because it's too tough for them. They can't discipline delayed gratification. They can't do that anymore. People don't know how to do it because we live in an instant society. People want to get rich quick, make money. If it doesn't come, they give up. And it's just so you and I know that with what we do across the world, we can make people free, financially free in 2 to 5 years. You can work for 2 to 5 years with a team of people, a group with leadership, with personal development, changing your limiting beliefs, allowing you to reach into your fullest potential, meet new people, travel the world. I mean, you know we can do it. I mean, it's just such a no-brainer. But then the sad thing is, you know, and you've got zero financial risk. You've got zero financial risk, you know, to do something like that. And you get people, they come and they want to have all those things, but they're not willing to put in the graft. They're not willing to work hard. They're not willing to go home and for 2 hours every single day of their life work on their dream because they have forgotten what moves them. If we can help remind people what they are worth, what their identity is in God, I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, if you really understand who you are, you've got royalty inside of you. You're part of the remnant. I mean, God is your Father. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to worry. You're the head and not the tail. You're a conqueror. Then nothing will stop you. Nothing. Nothing will stop you in this world. You will. And if we can just remind people of their divinity inside of them, and to help them create or help them to start developing a dream and a vision, something which can make a difference in people's lives, where we make huge contributions to society, and you know, if we can help get kind of, you know, help people to become alive in that part of their lives, their why, then the house won't matter. I mean, we can show anybody how to become financially free in 2 to 5 years. And financial freedom, let me just remind all the people that are watching, it's to have enough passive income that will cover your monthly budget so you don't have to sell your time for money anymore. So if that's 30 or 40 or 50,000 rand a month, passive income coming in, and you're free, and then you're free. And you can make 100, 200, 500,000 rand a month. But the idea is to to really go to bed tonight and ask yourself, like, what is it that really, really drives me? What is my why? Like, if I had R1 million coming in every single month of my life, what would my life look like? What would I do with my life? What would I do with that kind of money? Most people don't even know. You know, I ask every single person I meet, what is your dream? People go, they don't know what their dreams are. And it's so sad. Every single person that have left a legacy on this planet, they weren't special, they weren't different, they weren't chosen specifically by God to have extraordinary visions and achieve it. It's not like that. What people don't realize is if there is no meaning in life, then you have to create meaning. If you've got no meaning in your life, then you've got to go out and create meaning. Faith without works is dead. You've got to go out and you've got to create meaning. And it's so amazing. It's so awesome when I meet somebody. And I've met people from 60 years old, 20 to 60 to 70 that have started walking this journey with us, and they are doing amazing. They're doing the most amazing, amazing work, and they're getting to a place of financial freedom just because deep down inside of them, they've decided, they've just made a choice. They've made a decision that they want to change their lives. They've made a decision that they want to achieve their dreams, that they want to do what they've always wanted to do, and they've got a big why. So I want to challenge everybody to go to bed tonight and just ask yourself, like, what is that one thing that drives you in life? What is that one thing? It can't be your work. It can't be you just going to a work that you hate every single day. And then also there are so many, with that, I want to say that there are just so many other options for you to actually, in a part-time basis, make good money and go and enjoy your life.
Yeah.
I think what I see that
people
believe what they see.
And I think
that's where
mind
mind
shift
shift
must
must
happen,
happen,
where
where
we cannot
we
believe
cannot
what
believe what
we will
we
see
will
what
see what we.
Yeah. So it's absolutely, look, people grow up and like I grew up in a place where I was called not worthy, not good enough. I was labeled an absolute loser. I was told that I'm crazy. I was diagnosed with so many psychiatric illnesses. I don't even drink meds today anymore. And so my whole life, I believed, I had this picture in my mind, like you said, I had this picture in my mind and of who I was and what I was capable of. But that picture that I had in my mind was not the truth. It was just my truth. It wasn't the ultimate truth. So I had to get to a place where I had to first of all realize that I had stinking thinking. I had stinking thinking. And whatever you think, you will do. What you do will become your habits, and your habits will become your life. So I had to replace my kind of thinking with a different set of principles and values in thinking. And that was, and that's where personal development comes in. I mean, if you're a teacher, for example, I'm just taking an example. If you're a teacher and you're earning 15,000 Rand a month or 15,000 Rand a month, and for example, you decide to do something with us, or you want to change your life and you want to build a 500,000 Rand a month business, you can't do that with a 15,000 Rand mindset. You can't do that. If you don't change your mindset and the way that you perceive money and the way that you perceive wealth, and if you can't see your dream and work from your dream backwards, then you will never achieve it. And you can only do that with personal development. Let me give you an example. Yeah, let me give you an example quickly. So you know as well as I do that to get involved with us is it's nothing. 600 Rand. Okay?
it's a
It's a decision.
Yeah. 600 Rand and 150 Rand delivery fee for your business, and we start walking a journey with you. I mean, it's nothing. It's really nothing. It's not even 2 cappuccinos a month. Okay? So people come to me and they say, listen, Hykie, I don't have the money at the moment. Like, I show him exactly what we can do and the dream, and he gets so inspired, and he says, well, I don't have the money to sign up at the moment. Okay. Because he just doesn't have any money. So then I go to people and I say, and then I'll say to him, okay, so what is your dream car that you would love to dream? And then often I get an answer that says, no, I don't care. I'll just drive my own car for the rest of my life. I say, listen, rubbish. Okay, just dream. Just dream for a bit. It's just an exercise, okay? Because feeling that you're not worthy of making money is not a spiritual issue. It's a self-esteem issue. It's a self-esteem issue. If you feel that you are not worthy of an abundant life. Yes, if you want money just for yourself, that's greed, that's selfish ambition, and I don't stand for that. But give money to a godly man and see what God can do with him. If you can be responsible with money and you build churches and schools and change the world. So anyway, so I asked this person, what is your favorite car? And he might say, let's say a C200 Merc. Okay? Nothing too flashy. He might say, okay, listen, a C200 Merc, that's what he would like to drive. And I say to him, okay, so if I bring a C200 Merc to your doorstep right now, and I say to you, you can have that car for 10,000 Rand before 12 o'clock tonight. But after 12, it goes back to its full price. Will you make a plan to get that money? And he goes, yeah, of course I'll make a plan. Of course, anybody will make a plan. You will make a plan to get that money. Nobody has ever told me, no, you won't make a plan. If I park a C200 brand new Merc outside, and I say, listen, tonight, before 12, you can have it for 10,000 Rand. Okay? But after 12, you're not going to get it. You're going to get it for the full price. You will make a plan. You will phone 10,000 people. You will get that money. Why would you get the money all of a sudden? Because you see the value. You see the dream. You actually, it's a reality. There's the car. You actually, of course you'll make a plan because it's real. There it is. It's there. So then I said to that person, so money's not really the problem, is it? Because if you really wanted to, you can make a plan. The problem isn't the money. The problem is fear and doubt. People are afraid and they don't believe. It's a lack of belief. People don't believe in their dreams. If you don't believe in your dreams, you're staying exactly where you are. You're never going to achieve them. You're never going to... If I believe I'm worthless, what am I going to do? Worthless things. If I believe I'm a loser, what am I going to do? I'm going to do loser things. If I believe I'm just... That's just how it is. Whatever you believe will result in what you do in life. So people just don't believe in their dreams anymore. And I can show that person what he can achieve. And he'll still go, I want the money, but I don't have 650 Rand at the moment. That's just bollocks. I mean, it's like time. When people say, I don't have time. Listen, everybody has time. Most people, the average person spends 4 hours a day on TV and social media. Every single day of their lives, the average person. Okay? On your way to work, when you come back, lunchtime, before time and everything. And the difference between successful and unsuccessful people is that successful people work 2 hours a day on their dream. They come home, where most people sit on their couch, open up a beer, watch TV, okay? Most people, 97% of the population, that's just a fact. They come home and successful people go and they work for 2 hours on their dream. That's the difference. They invest time in their dream. And those are the guys that eventually change the world, get to live a full and immaculate life because they are willing to do the hard things now so that their life one day will be easy. Most people do the easy things now, which means that their life one day will be hard. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Jim Rohn spends his daytime working full-time job, bills, and working part-time.
Working part-time on your fortune, yeah. So I believe that traditional education, yes, traditional education will make you a living. Personal development will make you a fortune. Absolute fortune. So,
Questions.
yeah, so Dave, I just, I think to end off with, I think I have so much. Does it look funny when the light is on my nose? Because my nose is like illuminating. My nose is like doing. It's like, look, there's the Holy Spirit behind me. Yeah. No, look, I think that I've got so much hope for everybody in this country. There are so many opportunities, and I believe in people. That's what I do. I wake up and I think one of the gifts that God has given me is like I wake up and I just see potential, potential, potential. Everything I look at, I just go, okay, potential, potential, potential. I just spot potential. And I often want success more for other people than what I wanted for myself. And it's so tough and hard when you want to just take somebody and you just want to shake them and say, listen, but you can achieve this, you can do this. And they don't do it. You know?
Hykie,
Can you just give us a quick idea of how time do you spend on personal development journey?
I can't hear what you're saying, David. You're echoing a bit.
Yeah,
There's a problem.
okay.
Okay, just give us an idea
If
if someone wants to try start personal development,
where can they
where can
start?
they start?
Well, I think a couple of very good books, a couple of very, very good books to read. One is The Greatest Salesman in the World from Mandino. That is an all-time classic. I think it has sold millions over the years. It is absolutely brilliant. The Greatest Salesman in the World. It actually has nothing to do with sales. It all has to do with mindset. Mindset. So, Greatest Salesman in the World from Mandino. And then, of course, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So that book was written many, many years ago. It is probably the blueprint of most books that has ever been written on wealth. Prior to that, look, there are brilliant books. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and there are so many How to Win and Influence People from Dale Carnegie. I mean, there are just so many great books. But Think and Grow Rich is really a classic, and what the book is about is so the big steel giant, Andrew Carnegie, he commissioned Napoleon Hill at the time to travel for as long as it takes and go to some of the world's greatest millionaires and billionaires and find out what their secret was to success, their secret to wealth. And I think it took him 20 years, 25 years. I've got the book here in my cupboard. It took him 20, 25 years, and he wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich, because he went to Henry Ford and to the Rockefellers, and he went to all those guys, and he came up with 17 principles, and not one of them had anything to do with money. Not one. Not one single principle had anything to do with money. It all had to do with your mind. And as the word says, as a man thinketh, so he is. What is in a man's heart, so is his life and his actions. And I read the book, and it all has to do with certain principles. That if you start practicing these principles, but it talks about, for example, write a mission statement and a declaration of your life. He says there, he writes about goals. Now, everybody talks about goals and how to set goals and how to achieve goals. I mean, it's easy to set down goals, but you need an action plan. You need a plan on how to execute your goals. I mean, my girlfriend, Geraldine, she's just the most amazing, most phenomenal, most extraordinary. Yeah, I'm going to carry on and on and on. She's just amazing. And she inspires me so on the way that she sets goals and how she achieves them. And we sit together, like last night, we set out our goals for the week. We've got a big dream.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, so she can say hello.
Yeah, hello, Geraldine. Is she on the call? I think she's on the call. I don't know. Maybe she's. I see she's writing little comments there, so she's hearing. Oh, and so we have these weekly. We sit and we write down financial goals and personal goals and fitness goals for the week, and we slot in what is it that we want to achieve and everything. But then, of course, you need an action plan and a lot of self-discipline to do it. And it's hard and it's tough for me because I've got no routine. I had to learn routine. I had zero routine in my life. But so he talks, for example, about goals and all of that stuff. And what most people then again do, they read the book, but they never, ever, ever practice. Oh, there she goes. Yes, I am. They never do what the book says. So I really want to encourage you, go read that book, really. And you know what, David? Obviously, a lot of people are going to now ask us, what do we do, and what are we involved in, and how do we change the world? And I really invite every single one of you to contact David. I mean, he's just an extraordinary leader with so much passion and heart and commitment and perseverance and guts and courage, and and we welcome everybody, and it's always nice to see who joins us, and then who eventually just quits on their dreams and quits on because it just gets too tough and hard for them. But what we are all going to tell you is once you start, there are these certain books that you better start reading, because I can't work with anybody that's not willing to take one step. I will take one step towards you if you take 2 steps towards me. I tell people, oh yes, Geraldine says Boundaries is also a brilliant book on personal development. Boundaries, you can buy it at Kum Books. It's the best book on boundaries ever written. That's for moms and dads that struggle with people with addictions and all of that kind of thing. But it's just amazing, so go buy that book. But I always say to people, if you want me, if you want my time, because our time is precious. Time is precious. That's all we have, really, David. I mean, and if somebody wants your time, I will, with love, journey with somebody. But then he has to step up to the plate. If somebody takes one step towards me, I'll take a step towards them. So I'm a firm believer in personal development. I believe that the only way to change is the stuff that you listen to, the stuff that you read, and the people that you associate yourself with. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
What else would you like to know? Would you like to see a little bit of my house, David?
Because I can see, but I want you to show my viewers.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I see there's a problem, but
they could
hear you because and it was amazing. All your abundance of English.
That's wonderful, and I want to bless everybody that watched tonight. You guys are amazing. It's fast. Thank you for listening to us, really, and I hope to meet every one of you sooner or later. And really, God bless you. I believe that the task ahead of us can never ever be greater than the power behind us. And you are worthy, you are loved, you are beautiful, and you are worthy of a prosperous and abundant life. You have greatness inside of you. I know I have greatness inside of me because I've got divinity inside of me, and you have greatness inside of you because you have divinity inside of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it a lot.
Have a
very nice evening.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody. David, go well. We'll do one of these things again quite soon, I suppose.
I think so.
Let's sort out the problem and we'll do it again.
Wonderful.